We are on live.
Hello, everyone. Very warm welcome to this session of Let Us Talk It webinar. This webinar is about, we cover professional topics, but we definitely hope that everyone who has joined in today benefits in some way or the other. This topic today is very important, whether you are an employee or you are running a business. So we feel that if you know anyone who would be benefiting or who would be interested, please share the link with others, all those who have joined in on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn. These webinars are for people to share their knowledge and make an empowered and informed community. So we have started the process. It is up to others and people who are joining in to spread the word. With this, we also would like to let you know that we do these webinars, Let Us Talk It youth webinars, which happens every, for two groups, for younger group from 6 years to 10 years, and then from 10 years to 20 years. We have these webinars also on Fridays and Saturdays. But the professional webinars on work and life happens Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays from 12 to 1 p.m. EST. And the younger group webinar happens on Fridays from 8:45 p.m. EST. And the older youth webinar happens on Saturdays from 4 to 5 p.m. EST. Along with it, we have our yoga sessions, which happens on Wednesdays and Sundays. And Wednesday, it happens at 9 to 10 p.m. EST, and on Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. EST. So if you need more information, if you like to get involved, if you like to mentor or be a speaker at our webinar series, please do email us at webinar@letustalkit.com. Having said that, we will be coming to a very important and a topic which is, as I said, applicable to everyone. The topic today is employee engagement, retention management. The future of employee engagement is employee first, rest next. This one thing definitely personally, I believe is very true. And to give this presentation, we have our speaker, Prem Raj, who hails from Mumbai, India. He is an author and speaker on leadership and management with expertise in the banking and financial space. So he wishes to share his experiences as a speaker on various aspects of leadership and management. He also is a co-author of 3 books, all of which scaled the Amazon #1 bestseller list. Views expressed by Prem Raj has been published in various periodicals in India. His ideas and suggestions are futuristic. In these tough times, the distilled wisdom of his experiences will make for compelling stories and provide for insights to futuristic trend. He has also hosted talk shows on different platforms, interacting with a diverse set of individuals, bringing out the best in them. So if you want to gather some knowledge from his wide expertise, please hang around in this webinar. And at the end, we will have our question answer session where you have questions and he will be glad to answer those. So with that, it's an absolute pleasure and honor to have you, Prem Raj. Over to you.
Thank you, Julam. Thank you for that kind introduction.
Pleasure.
As an employee, have you ever felt you did not want to go to work on a Monday morning? And as an employer, did you feel your employees should be smiling and coming to work on a Monday morning? I'm going to use a chat and answer to this question, these 2 questions. Let's see what you feel about it. Why is it that the wavelengths between the employers and the employees don't usually match? What happens when the wavelengths don't match? There will be ill will, there will be fights, there will be conflicts, and finally, the employee will think of quitting. Employee retention or employee attrition is one of the biggest problems facing the corporate world. My name is KV Premraj. I have been in the corporate world for over 37 years, and I have gone through different geographies working. And I'm happy to say the attrition levels in the areas that I looked after, in the departments that I looked after, was much better than my peers and the industry standard. Today, I will be sharing the wisdom that I've gained, some of the things that I gained, that I felt helped me in ensuring that the employee engagement was high and the retention was low. Let me start with my story. As I was introduced and told, I was working in a banking sector for 37 years. The first 17 years of which was spent in a government bank. And in a bank, once you get promoted, you get transferred. So when I got promoted, I was transferred from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. This is about 500 kilometers. So I didn't have a choice. I went to Ahmedabad. Spent 3 years there, came back, spent some time in Mumbai, got promoted again. Same thing happened. I was once again sent to Ahmedabad. This time I had a family. The first time I did not have a family. I was not married. So I had to uproot my family to Ahmedabad. So when this transfer order came, I realized there were some colleagues of mine, some friends of mine who were promoted along with me both times. But due to the influence that they wielded or doing some hampy-campy things, they ensured that they were not transferred. They were retained in Mumbai. I felt awful. Why is it that I have been singled out? Why this unfair treatment to me? Having to go to Ahmedabad again, uprooting my family while others stayed in Mumbai. Had you been in my place, what would you have done? I thought of quitting. And I looked for another job. I found another job. And I put in my papers. So because of lack of employee engagement, I became a statistic that bank's attrition. This is what happens to many employees when that engagement is not proper. You all have to say anything about this? Do you all have any stories like this which you all would like to share? Please put it up in the chat. Before we go further, let me share some statistics as far as employee engagement is concerned. According to Gallup, only about 15% of employees are fully engaged in work, and about 17% are fully disengaged in work. The 68% in between are neither here nor there. They are partly engaged. They do their work for the salary that they get. But it is a 17% who are disengaged who are the toxic employees. They could do something to ensure that the other 68% also becomes disengaged like them. These borderline cases needs to be taken care of by the organization. This is what is about engagement part, and the statistics that we show, we can see that only 15% of the people are fully engaged For various reasons, the others are not fully engaged. Now, let us go to I've got a small presentation. Let me go through the presentation. Some more statistics on employee engagement. Companies with engaged employees outperform others by 202%. But the sad fact is only about 15% of the employees are fully engaged. Gallup studies reveal higher levels of employee engagement leads to 41% lower absenteeism, 59% lower turnover, 17% higher productivity, 20% higher sales, 21% higher profitability. With these statistics, won't you want, if you are an employer, that your employees should be engaged? And that's what we will look at. How is it that we can ensure that our employees are more engaged? And what is it that we can do to retain employees in the organization? Now let's look at the drivers of employment engagement. These are what are the things that drives engagement. One is reasonable pay and perks. Everyone is working for money. No one is doing charity. So what employees are looking at is reasonable pay and perks. If there are regulations, the minimum wages should be paid. Work-life harmony. Everyone is working for their families, themselves and their families. So the work should be such, the hours of work should be such, and the pressure should be such that when a person goes home, he doesn't have to carry the problems of the organization there. Work-life balance or work-life harmony is one of the key drivers of employee engagement. Then job satisfaction. If a person is not satisfied, he or she will never enjoy working there. The time will come when they will be looking for greener pastures. Training and career development. Everyone wants to move up in life. Everyone wants to be upskilling themselves so that they can get higher responsibilities or other jobs. So training and career development is also very, very important and a driver of employee engagement. You
Hi,
have the
excuse me,
immediate
Prem.
Yeah.
Are you sharing any presentation? Because we can't see any presentation.
You can't see anything. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought screen share was happening.
Can you probably click share share again? Yes. Now I think you can go in a slideshow mode or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can see it now. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the statistics on employee engagement that I sent. Companies with engaged employees outperform others by 202%. Gallup studies reveal higher levels of employee engagement leads to 41% lower absenteeism, 59% lower turnover, 17% higher productivity, 20% higher sales, 21% higher profitability. These are the drivers of employee engagement: reasonable pay and perks, work-life harmony, job satisfaction, training and career development, immediate management. When we talk about immediate management, it is the immediate boss that we are talking about. And statistics shows one of the most important drivers of employee engagement is the immediate boss, because it's the immediate boss with whom he or she will be coordinating or working for most part of the day. So this relation has to be very, very cordial for a person to be sticking around. Then we have periodic performance appraisals. This will allow a person to know where he or she stands as far as the organizational goals are concerned, whether he's a performer or whether socks needs to be pulled up. And continuous communication. A person needs to be informed as to how he is performing, so that in case any improvement has to be done, that can be done by that person. If there is no communication, this thing will not happen. No discrimination in opportunities. This is one of the biggest problems that an organization faces. Some employees feel they have been discriminated. Others are getting better favors. I shared that story of mine when I was transferred from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. I felt I was being discriminated, and just because someone had more pull or weight, he could ensure that his transfer was stopped while I was sacrificed. This discrimination is a great driver for employee engagement. Then we have health and safety measures. Every employee needs to know as to what's happening with his health, and whenever the working condition should be such that his health is not put in jeopardy. These are the drivers of employee engagement. Now let's move to the challenges to employee engagement. With age, engagement levels, as you grow older, the engagement levels tends to dip. That could be because when a person is younger, he's got more verve, energy. Experiencing discrimination or harassments impacts engagement. We talked about discrimination and harassment, whether it is sexual harassment, whether it is harassment of some other type. Experiencing that is a challenge to employee engagement. With increase in length of service, engagement levels decline. When a person works in an organization for a long time, somehow or the other, it tends to relax, and the overall engagement level comes down. Minority or ethnic staff have higher levels of engagement in comparison to their white colleagues. The statistics bear this out. Minority or a person who has come from some other region or country, they work much, much harder. Their employee engagement levels are much, much higher. And employees with personal development plans shows greater engagement. The staff members know the organization has plans for his or her development, as promotions or upskilling, then the engagement is said to be higher. And managers have higher level of engagement when compared to the team members. Manager, by the level that is in the organization, has a greater stake in the organization, and not only in his welfare, but in the welfare of people under him. So it's always been noticed that managers have a level of engagement that is higher than their team members or their subordinates. It's a fact of life. And some of the positives of having engaged employees: one will be higher productivity, two will be higher levels of energy, is work towards personal success, and by extension propels organization forward. When a person works for his own success, his success translates into the success of the organization. and introduces innovation at workplace. When a person is engaged, he knows his work, and he is comfortable in that, he will ensure that he introduces innovation at the workplaces. Some new things will be coming in which will help him and the organization grow. Happy customers. A staff member is happy, he will make customers happy. And the other way, if the customer is not happy, he will ensure that the customers are also disgruntled. Happy co-workers. When you are happy, you spread the sunshine around, and your co-workers will also be happy. Your happiness rubs on to your co-workers. You become evangelists of the company. When you are happy, when you are engaged, you are the ambassadors of your company, and will ensure that your company is always shown in good light. This is one of the cornerstones of employee engagement. Gallups had done a survey where they had lakhs and lakhs of employees surveyed, and they came upon 12 core things which worked upon the engagement piece. If these pieces were in place, these 12 things were in place, the employee engagement level was much, much higher. For organizations, if you need to check on the employee engagement, you need to ensure that these 12 steps, or most of the steps, are in place in your organization. And I'll run through those 12 elements that Gallup had come. Know what is expected. An employee should know as to what is expected of him. If he doesn't know what is expected of him, you cannot expect him to perform. And when he is not performing, the levels of engagement will come down. Have the right materials and equipments. As an employer, are we giving our employees the right materials, equipments? Whether we are giving him the tools wherein he can do the work that he is expected to do. This is very, very critical. Opportunity to do what I do best. By giving all opportunities, all chances to the employee to ensure that he performs the best of his ability. Recognition and praise. Who doesn't like recognition? Who doesn't like praise? But there are a lot of bosses or immediate bosses who are very, very stingy with praise and who doesn't recognize the subordinate team member. And there are also cases wherein the boss will appropriate the credit for what the subordinate or team member has done. It's very, very essential that a person is recognized for the good work that is done and praise is showered on him when it is required. Does the organization care for me as a person, or am I looked upon just like a cog in the wheel, wherein it's just an impersonal thing? I'm just a statistics or a number or a roll number. If an organization cares for an employee as a person, you will find the levels of engagement are much, much higher. Encourages development. The organization interested in the welfare and development of the employee? If it does well, will there be promotions? Will there be salary hikes? Those are important levels of engagement. My opinion counts. As an employee, when I'm on the shop floor, if I have an opinion, is that opinion counting? Will that be taken into consideration? If I give a suggestion, will that suggestion be implemented or at least been looked at? Only if it is implementable, it will be implemented. What happens in many cases, the immediate boss does not even look at the team member and feels he may not be able to give any opinion, which is counterproductive. Connection with mission of the organization. Every organization has its vision and mission. Is the employee connected to that mission? Is what is critical as a level of engagement. Are my co-workers committed to quality work? I might be committed to doing quality work. I might be the best performer. I might be doing my best. But are my co-workers also committed to the quality of work that is expected? Because if we are working in a group, the co-workers do not carry the weight that they are expected to carry. Me doing it alone will not help the objective of the department of the unit being done. I have a best friend at work and I'm working. Do I have someone with whom I can share my trials and tribulations, my dreams and aspirations? If an organization can make that happen, then they are on the way to success. Someone has talked to me about my progress in the last 6 months. This is very, very critical. Everyone is looking for growth. Everyone is looking for success. Has someone in the organization, especially the immediate boss, spoken and given feedback to the person so that he or she knows as to where they stand as far as the hierarchy is concerned and as far as the job is concerned? It is very, very critical as a tool for employee engagement. Somebody should be speaking to the person on the progress that can be expected of him. Opportunities to learn and grow. Am I as an employee being given opportunities where I can grow in the organization, where I can learn, upskill myself? That's critical for this. These are the 12 elements in the Gallup survey on engagement. If an organization can get this done, they are halfway through having a great employee engagement. And the more these points are taken into consideration and are implemented, they will find the levels of engagement increasing substantially. Now let's see why employees quit. One immediate boss. This is a sad fact of life. Anything between 75 to 95% of the employees are said to be quitting because of their immediate boss. So if we are an immediate boss, we need to, whenever an employee quits, we need to ask the question to ourselves, am I the reason why this employee quit? Job profile and workplace does not live up to expectations. The profile that the person is having or the workplace is in the wrong place. So then expectations won't be met and he will be thinking of quitting. Lack of hand-holding in the initial phase. An employee is new to an organization. He needs a lot of hand-holding. If that hand-holding doesn't happen, he will be lost. It is said about 32% of the people who quit in the first 90 days say this is the reason, the lack of hand-holding in the initial phase is the reason why they quit. Lack of periodic constructive feedback. If a feedback is not given, usually what happens only during the time of appraisal, that appraisal might be an annual affair when the feedback is given. But if constructive feedback was given at periodic at intervals, either monthly or quarterly, a person would know as to where he or she stood. If any corrective measures have to be taken, that could be taken. So it is very, very critical that periodic constructive feedback has to be provided. And stifled career progression. Many people feel they needed to be promoted. They were aspiring for a promotion, but somehow or the other that did not happen. And because that did not happen, their career got stifled, and then they were looking for greener pastures. Unable to handle pressure resulting in stress. There will always be pressure, there will always be expectations. But sometimes some people are not geared, not capable of handling the pressure, due to which they develop stress and think of looking outside the organization. Lack of work life harmony. Everyone wants work life balance. What is the point in working if you cannot ensure that people at home are happy with you and you can spend time with your family? That lack of work life harmony is one of the biggest reasons why employees quit. And then loss of faith in the top management team. Sometimes it is known that the top management or the higher levels of management are not really clean, are not really upfront about what is happening in the organization. So some employees might feel it is detrimental to their future. So they think about quitting. Better salary and perks. Everyone is looking for salary. Everyone is looking for higher salary. So if an opportunity comes wherein substantial hike, raise, or in-kind emoluments are paid, the person will think about quitting. These are some of the main reasons why employees quit. In my 37 odd years of working, I've succeeded in ensuring that my attrition level were much, much lower than industry standards. So I modeled retention strategy, which I will call as the blend model, BLEND. Each of those alphabets stand for something. We'll see more about that. B is for belonging. Does an employee feel he belongs here? Let me quote one, let me give you a story or an anecdote about the belonging part. This is relevant to Mumbai. On the 26th of November 2008, terrorists from across the border hit Mumbai. And one of the places that they hit was the iconic Taj Mahal Hotel. When the gunfire was happening, the employees could have escaped. They knew the architecture of the building. If they wanted, they could have escaped. But what happened? Not one employee left that designated place. They were always trying to help the guests escape. Many of these employees, while trying to help the guests escape, were shot, some were killed. But not one person left his position or his place. When later on they were asked about it, why didn't they try to escape? They said it is a sense of belonging to the organization and the duty that they had to do, where their main job was to protect the guests. This fighting with their lives at stake can only happen in an organization wherein that belonging concept is there. And in India, we find the House of Tatas, who own the Taj Mahal Hotel, one of the best places as far as belonging is happening. If we have belonging, you will find retention doesn't happen much. And the Taj people have very, very low attrition levels. Sorry, retention is much, much higher than competition. Employees whose managers consistently acknowledge them for good work are 5 times more likely to stay at the company. Those whose managers consistently help them manage their workload are 8 times more likely to stay. So we need to ensure that our employees feel there is a sense of belonging for them to not look at greener pastures. The second in the blend thing is L. What is L? L is listening and learning. What is listening? Listening is listening to your employees. I'll give you another story. As a branch manager, I was posted in a branch which was a derailed branch. And processes were not in place. Employee morale was down. Productivity was low. There was no work-life harmony. So I got these employees together. I held a meeting and told them, this is your shop floor. We have a problem in the branch. Can you come up with solutions which will help in ensuring that the processes are streamlined? So I won't go into the details of what happened because it's a banking terminology. I don't know how many people are here from the banking fraternity. But what happened was, after some time, these team members came up with a solution which ensured that crowding in the branch was reduced. They had more spare time. Their productivity increased. They could go home much, much earlier. This process, the new process that these people came up with as a branch manager, implemented it in the branch, and we escalated it to the higher office. This process that we got in became the standard operating practice of the bank and the industry. This happened only because the manager was willing to listen to the shop floor employee. And it is these employees who will come up with great ideas. And when, as an employer or as a boss, you're willing to listen to these people, you will find that these people will not be thinking of quitting. And because we listened to them, the attrition problem that the branch was facing got licked very, very soon. Another thing about is learning. The expiry date of knowledge has been crunched to 2.5 years. Artificial intelligence and new things coming up on the technology front, what we know today might be irrelevant or obsolete tomorrow. So we need to ensure our employees are trained and developed. There's learning. If they can't do the learning on themselves, we as an organization needs to ensure that we put them through the paces and they're skilling, they're upskilled, so that future, the new technology and other things, we will be conversant in handling that. There's another statistics that I'd like to share. I read somewhere in the year, by the year 2030, the jobs that are in existence then, 80% of the jobs are not in existence now. We don't know what these jobs are. If we have to survive in the world, this working world, we need to ensure our people are groomed with newer skills so that when these new jobs come up, they will be able to take it. Employees who feel listened to feel more connected with the employer and in turn are more engaged and motivated to do their best for the organization. P is for empower and empathy. Let me share another story. I had an employee by the name of Komal. She used to be very good in her work. She was a relationship manager. She used to handle high-end clients. And many of the time, she used to go out of the way to help these customers. Customers used to be gaga about the service that she used to give. Many times, because the customers used to call her at odd hours, her work-life balance was not that great. She had to put in late hours. So sometimes in the morning, she found it difficult to come to work at the prescribed time. But her manager was not empathetic to this, was not willing to listen to her excuses because she went late or she was handling other things. If the customer if the branch manager had given a bit of empathy, the relation would not have become frosty. Because the branch manager was a stickler to rules and regulations, not going by what the girl was doing. She thought about quitting. And after some time, she did quit. Now she is running her e-business, which is very, very happy as an entrepreneur. What happened? The bank lost because the immediate supervisor was not willing to empower and show some empathy to the staff member. It's very, very critical that if we are not empathetic, we will lose a lot of people. Never get tired of doing little things for others. Sometimes those little things occupy the biggest part of their hearts. Employees who feel their voice is heard at work are 4.6 times likely to feel more empowered. It's essential that we empower our people and we behave empathetically with our staff members. The next one. Next one is nurture and nourish. How do we nurture employees? Nurturing happens when the employee steps in. Hand holding has to happen from the time that onboarding happens. It's very, very critical in the initial stages of a staff member's life. There is someone to look over his shoulders, someone to handhold him, someone to see that he is comfortable in the new work, in the new environment. So if you don't do this, there is a possibility that person will commit mistakes, or he might feel he is left to his own devices. So we need to ensure that a person is nurtured and nourished. And nourishing will happen when somebody handholds him, shows him, takes him through the paces, teaches him new things. If this happens, you will find the customer will not, sorry, another customer, the employee will not think about quitting. Another thing that you can do about nurturing is we could have buddies at work. We could have mentors at work. Mentors and buddies will ensure that a person doesn't get lost in the system. The last in this is develop staff members. If you want to retain and attract top talent, you have to invest in employee development. How do you develop employees? What I have found from my experiences, if there is a promotion, if there's an avenue for promotion, instead of looking for candidates from outside, if we can look at candidates from inside, that will be a great boost for employee engagement. The staff members know if they perform, there's an opportunity that will come, they will be getting this promotion. And it's also good for the organization, because if a new person has to be employed and has to be sourced from outside, there's a lot of cost involved. But if you promote a person from inside, one, the cost reduces. Second, the person knows the organization and the different departments. So he will not have difficulty navigating two different departments in his new job role. Plus, he'll also be knowing the culture of the organization. It's a win-win situation for all of us to ensure that we develop our staff members. This is a blend formula that I have found to be very, very useful. When I was using some components of this, I found the attrition of employees was much, much lesser in the areas or the departments that I handled. Do you feel the blend formula will lead to greater employee retention? The rules The game has changed after COVID-19. In the new normal, we cannot go back to the old practices that we were following. Empathy and compassion are going to be the cornerstones of 21st century employee engagement. And then we have the millennials. They are already one third of the workforce, and as the days go by, the percentage is going to increase. This is the fast forward generation. So unless there is a lot of employee engagement, you will find that the turnover of employees will be much, much higher. So I come to that credo that I have: employees first, rest next. Will have to be the mantra the employers will have to follow if they have to see better employee engagement. Staff retention initiatives has to begin at the top. For this, there has to be a mind flex at the top level of the organization, be it the CEO level or one level below. The boss has to metamorphose into a leader. Happy employees will be more productive, generate more profits, and deliver delightful customer experience. So, the future of employee retention is employees first, rest next. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prem, for an excellent session on a very important topic and relevant topic for the corporates. So, if any have any questions, feel free to put in the YouTube chat or the Zoom chat window. Otherwise, just want to remind all that we have sessions going on almost every day in under LetUsTalkIt forum, and especially for today, we have 2 more youth public speaking prep sessions. So that is at 4 p.m. Eastern time today. That is on the personal development for the youth. And then at 8:45 p.m. EST, that is on the solar system for the younger group of the youth. So they have the public speaking prep on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then they go live over the weekend. And also, we have more sessions coming up. We have a session tomorrow and the day after as well. On Wednesday, tomorrow we have intelligent document processing using robotic process automation and more focus on the financial services industry. And then on Thursday noon Eastern time, we have another professional session. Do you know the way? So learn the way to become your best self and help make a real positive difference in the world. So there is a lot of excitement in the LetUsTalkIt forum, and thank you all audience for the participation and comments and the subscription to the channel, the YouTube channel LetUsTalkIt, and also the Facebook one. So let's see if there are any more questions. So one of the comments that you made was pretty interesting, Prem. If we can instill the notion that an employee's success, he's doing, he's performing the duties for his own success, which also translate to organization success. There's nothing more than that. You shared a lot of useful tips and recommendations. And do you offer any services specifically in this area? What kind of services do you provide? If any organizations or individuals want to approach you.
Keynote sessions and trainings.
Okay, so the trainings, what are the approximate durations or any more details on the trainings?
That depends on what type of trainings they want. What I'll be trying to do is address the pain points of the customer. So before I curate the training program, I'll be speaking to the customer, trying to understand as to what is it that they are looking at. Based on the pain points, we will then have some training sessions. The sessions could be half a day, full day. It could be more. It could be keynote, short 45 minutes keynote addresses.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So we'll definitely, I think the interested audience and the rest of the team would stay in touch. And yeah, if we don't have anything else, any other questions, then I think it's a wonderful session, and we are very very grateful for all the time that you spent today.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So thank you all. And we'll see you again today at the youth sessions at 4 p.m. Eastern Time at the same Zoom link. Thank you all. Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah. Bye-bye.